Driving a heavy vehicle is the single most dangerous occupation there is. Generally, our truck drivers are highly trained and experienced professionals. Drivers of other vehicles can be fatigued, impaired, or simply inexperienced, and can collide with or impact on the heavy vehicle. Our community relies on trucks to exist. Our truck drivers get little acknowledgement for the essential role that they perform. Our drivers need the best help with the most up-to-date equipment available for this demanding task. In a crash, the safety engineering of a truck can make the difference between life and death. The forces involved in a crash are immense, and the performance of every single piece of equipment contributes to the outcome of a crash. The tarpaulin curtains that cover the sides of the truck and trailers have seatbelt straps that are buckled down to keep the load within the vehicle. Seatbelt straps are cheap and abundant, and their use in curtain siders is very widespread. The seatbelt strap was originally designed to protect the occupants in a car crash and is a poor quality material to use as a load restraint due to its stretchy nature.
With a load restraint system, you want to minimise side movement to an acceptable level, because if the whole load moves sideways significantly, the end result will be that the vehicle will roll over.
Polyweld has developed a new high-tenacity textile called Tenacitex. For truck curtains, replacing the seat belts with Tenacitex makes a significant improvement to commonly used transport equipment at minimum expense. Tenacitex fibres hardly stretch at all and are simply much safer. The results of this test were literally off the chart, showing much lower elongation and much higher strength than the seat belts that are normally used.
Well, basically, when the load is initially placed, it stabilises the vehicle because it's force downwards around the outside tyres stops the thing rolling over. As the load moves sideways, you reduce the stabilising effect of the load, and so the vehicle becomes more and more likely to roll over. When I'm designing load restraint systems, I ensure that the movement of the load won't reduce the rollover potential of the truck by more than about 7 to 10%.
To demonstrate the effectiveness of Tenacitex, we are going to observe how a 12-tonne load is restrained in a simulated rollover event without the assistance of friction. The use of friction as a contributing resistant force has been the bread and butter of carriers for centuries. So we can see just how successful the Tenacitex strap is, we're going to conduct the simulated rollover. Normally the load will rest directly on the floor of the truck and the timber pallet resting on the checker plate. Only for the purpose of this demonstration, we are placing the pallets on steel rollers, which will totally eliminate the beneficial resistant force of friction. The outcome of this will be to show just how effective Tenacitex really is at making our roads safer. In this test, we are using household paint, which is potentially flammable and is classified as dangerous goods. For the purpose of assisting the restraint of the load, these pallets should be shrink wrapped so that they behave as a single unit and the constitution of the load doesn't lose integrity when the crunch comes. The truck is tilted to the angle of 30 degrees. According to physics, it is slightly more than a 0.5 G-force against the curtains. The maximum allowable limit for displacement outside the maximum width is 100 millimetres. The purpose of this test is to show the effectiveness of Tenacitex and that it is a much safer substitute for seatbelt straps. When you choose your next curtain sider, specify Tenacitex.